Some of the operators are on the verge of losing their licenses. One of them, MTS, which has been operating in India for about more than 3 years now, is here with us. So welcome to Bloomberg UTV. Now, my first question is, what are the grounds of challenge in the review petition that you have filed?
Well, thank you for this question, and I would say that the key ground for us is first to explain the process which we are going through, and to explain the difference between our applications and other applications from the perspective of the process. So basically, even if we imagine for a second that we agree with overall ruling, which of course is again very hard for us to fully swallow, the fact that we were always following all the government prescribed policies and procedures, we would say that in any case the uniqueness of our technology and uniqueness of our situation is that we are the only one who applied for CDMA spectrum, and we are the only one who got them. Besides the 3 small circles for respectable data teleservices, we were the only one who were interested in the pan-Indian CDMA spectrum, and clearly we were the first, last, and only interested party in CDMA, in developing CDMA technology. So from that perspective, we do believe that even if there is any perceived loss to exchequer, which again many respectable august industry analysts really doubt, from the perspective of this particular spectrum, there are significant concerns whether it was any loss at all. And of course, there is nothing there in CAG report which relates to system SHYAM teleservices, and we are not mentioned in any of the findings from the respectable CAG. So we believe that in this case it would be our humble request to consider situation case by case rather than a one-size-fits-all kind of approach.
Right. Would you also agree with me if I say that if the licenses stand cancelled, as they say, on 2nd of June 2012, it's the end of the CDMA story in India?
No, this I would hardly agree. I mean, while of course we are the only CDMA player, pure CDMA player in India, we do believe that there is a significant potential of the technology. It's globally, technology is developing quite well, and in a few markets, especially in China, Indonesia, US, it's one of the most, in the US it's dominant technology, in Korea, Japan also. So from that perspective, it's definitely a question not to me, because still I'm only one of the 3 players, and respectable competitors, Tata and Alliance, are dedicating significant efforts to develop this technology. So from that perspective, it would be hard to agree, frankly speaking. Right. While of course the focus on CDMA will be lost, because of course these are so-called dual players.
Right. What is your plan B if, let's say, the Supreme Court rejects the review petition?
Well, at this stage I think it's truly premature for us to discuss the plan B, as you call. At this stage I can say that we are developing our, we are basically working on the 2 directions. Legal way, we do believe that we were able to put together enough arguments to be heard by the Honorable Supreme Court, and we do sincerely hope that such opportunity will be granted, and we do believe that basically there are some chances for the positive relook on this case. Simultaneously, we definitely taken part in the consultation process by TRII, because in any case, in many circles we are already hitting the roof in terms of the capacity utilization and the closeness of the BTSs, so we anyway need additional spectrum, and we will be very much interested in getting more spectrum in addition, even if we are, imagine for a second, successful through the court route. So from that perspective, at this stage we do not have plan B, and we do not develop this. We do believe that the common sense will prevail, frankly speaking, in these circumstances, and there wouldn't be suffering for our partners, for our customers, and clearly, you know, all these new operators, they have more than 70 million customers, besides the overall impact on the ecosystem, which is important to remember in the current environment.
When you say you are still interested in getting spectrum, this would be GSM spectrum as opposed to CDMA spectrum?
Well, we very frequently mention that it is really hard to see the sound business case in the GSM 1800, and we will maintain so. Of course, again, this situation is an opportunity to once again verify the calculations and see if there is any new information which can change the previous assumption. But at this stage, it's really hard to imagine us going for GSM spectrum. We have our own network, we have our own ecosystem, and as you know, distribution and sales system is different in CDMA and GSM. Of course, network is completely different. There are some synergies, obviously, but it is hard to imagine that the synergies will beat all the...
Correct me if I'm wrong, about the auctions, whenever they take place, they will be for GSM spectrum, not for CDMA spectrum. There are no perceived auctions that, as we look at it, for CDMA. How do you look at that evolving situation?
Well, I think historically we were always making this case, and thank you for asking this question, because the 99.9% of the debate is about GSM spectrum. And that is one of the submissions which we make to the respectable Supreme Court, on the one hand. And this is the thing which we also are submitting in our observations to TRAI also and to DOT, that there should be two separate auctions, because in the end of the day, what would be the future for us? In the end of the day, there should be a path forward, technology path and spectrum path provided for all operators. And of course, not every technology is possible to deploy in each particular spectrum band. So while we do welcome the initiative of being technology agnostic, there are certain practical implications which has to be thought through. But I hope that in the process of the formulation of recommendations, respectable authorities will take this into account.
In association with Vinani Cement for generations to come, and IBM, let's build a smarter planet. Exchange partner BSE, experience the new.
All of them will now report to Mr. Venkatraman, the CEO and Managing Director running L&T.
Like Mr. Nayak, I've also grown through this company almost the same level of intimate detail.
The question is actually your ability to smell the future.
Now what?
Nothing, yeah. Just untie the knots and leave.
Oh shit!
अरे तेरे पास लैपटॉप और Reliance Net Connect dongle है.
Get lightning fast internet speed with Reliance Net Connect, starting at ₹1199. Also get McAfee antivirus free for 1 year. Reliance.
ये उनकी कुछ चीजें हैं जो मेरे पास पड़ी है, लेकिन उनकी जमा पूंजी जो मेरे लिए थी वो आपके पास पड़ी है।
देखिए अब
मुझे यूं यहाँ रोज रोज आना अच्छा नहीं लगता।
आपके अपने उनके हक के पैसों के लिए परेशानी क्यों उठाएं? इसलिए भारतीय एक्सा लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ने बदला है जीवन सुरक्षा का नजरिया। पाइएगा क्लेम सूची के वक्त फंड वैल्यू का पूरा भुगतान सिर्फ 48 घंटों में। अब 48 घंटे के भुगतान का फायदा भारतीय एक्सा लाइफ फ्यूचर इन्वेस्ट पर भी। भारतीय एक्सा लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, जीवन सुरक्षा का नया नजरिया।
It was 1 year ago. We made a promise. a promise to stand by you.
I would like to compliment you. This is a very remarkable achievement. Within 1 year, you have been able to resolve 10,000 disputes.
I must congratulate you are doing a splendid job in creating awareness about the consumer rights.
A promise to ensure that no company denies you what is rightfully yours.
Fightback is giving a great support to all the consumers in India.
I would like to thank Fightback program.
We are happy to have stood by more than 10,000 consumers and brought a smile to their face.
Designs, trends and critiques straight from the lack. Control your entertainment system all at the touch of a button. We're telling you how to live in a den. We're talking about a space that you can create in your own house. This is Aspire's guide to the ultimate den.
When you are talking to your consumers right now in the interim of June 2nd, 2012, with the day when the licenses, as per the Supreme Court order, stands quashed, what is the communication you are giving to your consumers?
The only thing I can say is that the consumers are having full faith in us. We don't see increase of the port outs. We, in fact, if you follow the statistics, first half year after introduction of MNP, we were in positive area. Second half last year, we were in slightly negative. And now we are again in green, and we see more port-ins rather than port-outs. We see that customers really have this faith in us, and clearly our offers are really very unique, I would say, both in voice and data. And from that perspective, customers, I would say, have a lesser concern. We have explanation to the customers. It's really, we basically openly telling them that this is the situation, but in principle, we see very limited effect now on the ground in regards to this.
But you are, of course, communicating it to the consumers that there is a chance that this license, and there is possibility the license stands quashed on June 2nd, 2012.
I would say, frankly speaking, we are addressing the queries, let me put it in this way, and I would say that there are very few queries on that matter, very few queries, both in the call center, both in the retail. People are not very much concerned.
It's business as usual, as you say.
It's actually even better than usual. We see February getting much stronger because in the end of the day, I don't believe there were any negative actions against us by other operators, but in principle, but on the ground, sometimes there is a rivalry between the sales team, and I would say this whole situation significantly re-energized our people. It was really, to a certain extent, it has united the team on the ground and made them even more proud for the brand, for what we are doing, and I should say results for February are definitely much stronger than January, which makes it for me difficult to explain to shareholders the real consequences of the...
Does government's filing of the review petition also help your case?
We very much welcome this decision, and lesser than the fact of the filing, but rather the firmness of the arguments which are there. And clearly, we do believe that no matter what, I mean, definitely if there are any irregularities in the policies application, this is one thing, and that is, I understand, is subject to the High Court investigation and process. But the policy itself led to significant breakthrough in the penetration in the country. If you really look into the numbers, you would see that for example, in the second half of 2007, we saw 49 million new customers. In the second half of 2008, we saw 59 million. And in the second half of 2009, by that time almost all new operators launched, or new serious operators launched. We're already having 97 million new customers. So we almost doubled, 63% growth to be precise, in terms of the new customers coming to the market. And clearly we see this as a very, very strong effect of the fact that spectrum was available not at the dirt cheap prices, some people say, but at a reasonable price. That enabled significant national enclosure, which is the national telecom policy is speaking about. And one shouldn't forget about this. In the end of the day, if irregularities in the policy application, this is one thing, and this should be, of course, properly investigated and so on and so forth. But the policy itself had a very, very positive consequences for the society, which I think is not always taken into account, let me put it in this way, when this whole situation is being debriefed.
You know, the government has filed for a review petition, you have gone for a review petition, some of the other companies, telcos in the area, in the sector have gone for a review petition. Would it help you if you make government a party to the case?
Well, frankly speaking, really hard to answer this question because we never thought of this, and we follow the outline process, and outline process, as per my understanding with the limited legal knowledge, says that we have to do this ourselves. So we believe that we are able to, we will be able to message to
the courts.
To the court by ourselves.
Right. You are the only, let's say, global operator which is not fighting with its Indian partner. What's the reason? What's the trick? What's the success story like? Because other players have already slapped suits against their Indian partners for what they call breach of trust. You think that has happened in India with your partner?
Well, not at all. I think we're very happy and working very closely with our respectable Indian partners, SHYAM Group. I think probably the fact that our Indian partner has a very long-term telecom history and is a part of the very inception of the private operators into the market and joint understanding of what to expect from the business and what not to expect. I don't think anyone is expecting quick returns. As you know, we are promising and forecasting positive EBITDA in 2014, and every party realizes that this is the nature of the very heavy infrastructure, capital-intensive business like ours. So no one was expecting any quick profits or quick returns or anything like that. So I think there is operational expertise in the both groups, and I think that there is a proper understanding of what one can expect from the business like ours.
All that I would say is, if we can do whatever is needed to accelerate our progress in basic education and turbocharge the economy, and at the same time make it easier for businesses to grow, for job creation, for foreign direct investment, and for us to build our higher education infrastructure quickly.
In association with Vinani Cement for generations to come and IBM, let's build a smarter planet. Exchange partner BSE. Experience the
ये उनकी कुछ चीजें हैं जो मेरे पास पड़ी है, लेकिन उनकी जमा पूंजी जो मेरे लिए थी वो आपके पास पड़ी है।
देखिए अब
मुझे यूं यहाँ रोज रोज आना अच्छा नहीं लगता।
आपके अपने उनके हक के पैसों के लिए परेशानी क्यों उठाएं? इसलिए भारतीय एक्सा लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ने बदला है जीवन सुरक्षा का नजरिया। पाइएगा क्लेम सूची के वक्त फंड वैल्यू का पूरा भुगतान सिर्फ 48 घंटों में। अब 48 घंटे के भुगतान का फायदा भारतीय एक्सा लाइफ फ्यूचर इन्वेस्ट पर भी। भारतीय एक्सा लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, जीवन सुरक्षा का नया नजरिया।
oil is going up and gold down. Turn that frown upside down. Why invest? Live free. Become a Baba like me.
Every day we seek answers to our investment queries, but don't fall prey to the wrong ones.
NSE and Bloomberg UTV present All India Investor Yatra.
First time in India, we come to your city and tell you about the do's and don'ts of investing through live interactive theatre performances.
Presented by NSE in association with Toyota Etios Q-Class and Reliance Securities. Print partner Punya Nagri. Audience managed by Infonautics.
The next question is, while you are fighting it out in the courts as far as the quashing of licenses is concerned at a certain level, the Rajasthan High Court has given you about 18 months timeline to list. Is that a big headache? How are you planning to tackle that?
Well, that is again, this is something which clearly on our radar screen, and we are basically engaging with all the parties involved. Here the situation is very simple. The guidance to initiate IPO process was followed very strictly, but it was also very obvious for us that after this situation and hearing in Supreme Court has started last year, it was very obvious that it is really hard to predict the outcome, hence build the very sustainable and clear business plan. So frankly speaking, this is the situation which is completely out of our control, and most of the minority shareholders understand that at this stage it's really hard to speak about any IPO. The situation where we are basically working and trying to return our license back. So yes, I understand that there are worries. These worries are natural. We have worries not only from shareholders, and basically even CDMA is worried. Let me put it in this way, that's very obvious. And we definitely have to have some time to understand how one can act business-wise, and then of course we will re-energize the listing process, because we do understand why it was requested. We do sincerely plan and want to do this, but at this stage it would be complete shareholder value destruction if we will strictly, if we kind of start planning to this, because market is not ready for this. It is it's hard to explain without clear understanding how much spectrum and where we will have. So definitely this is a situation when we all have to basically defend the company interest first and foremost, which would possibly lead to, hopefully lead to our positive outcome and resolution of the many issues, including this very important one.
You have also slapped an arbitration notice on the government and asked it to resolve the issue in the next 6 months. So if suppose the Supreme Court judgment does not come into play, are there chances that goalpost shifts a bit?
This issue I would prefer to escalate to our respectable shareholders, CDMA, which did this thing. I am representing here operator, which didn't slap any notices, and clearly I would say that we are interested in the most possibly fast resolution of the issue, because we have full commitment to the market, we have full commitment to our customers, and we do believe that should the issue be resolved in a positive way, there wouldn't be any need for further.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you are also representative of Systema on board, or India representative on board Systema, and also Systema is very well connected and is widely being supported by the Russian government. We understand that there is a convention of sorts between the Russian government and the Indian, or a treaty between the Russian government and Indian government, that they will protect each other's investments in each other's countries, and it is as per this treaty that this arbitration notice has been slapped. Now in such a circumstance, are you getting enough support from the Russian government?
Well, at this stage I would say that Russian government is very much interested in the situation, asking questions, what is going on, what is our plan. Russian government, of course, the shareholder of our company, and clearly they are worried about their investments also, literally, not the Russian entity CDMA, but the literal investment of the Russian government itself. We shared with them our approach, something which you just asked about, the review petition and the arguments, and at this stage, I think they are fully briefed. They are briefed by the embassy. We are not talking directly, of course, again, it's our shareholders in Moscow which are directly engaged with them. I would say that they are briefed enough, but what on their action plan, again, it would be hard for me to comment.
But arbitration, if and when it happens, it would be an international court of arbitration.
Definitely, it's not a question to me.
Okay. Now, moving ahead, assuming that the things remain the way they are today, what would you, as the CEO of the company in India, would do in the next 4 months? What is your roadmap?
Well, the things as they are now, we have fully legitimate license, we have full budget, and we have financing and employee trust and trade trust. So we'll continue going and developing our business. We have very ambitious plans. We just introduced our new line of business, which is the smartphone on CDMA, on the basis of CDMA, which provide unique experience not only in voice but also in data. So if the things are as is now, from the business perspective, definitely we are planning to significantly grow the business this year, and we do have all the ammunition to do so. But if you say that something gonna, if we are not successful in our, say, aspirations to explain our position, say that we're definitely closer to the June 2nd should come out with plan at this stage. I can specifically reassure you that we are not designing any plans like that. We have all the hopes, positive hopes for positive resolution of this situation, and we are working as hard as possible and even harder than before on the execution of our
Are investment plans on hold?
Everything is in place. Everything is in place, and we definitely, there is no any guidance to stop investment, not to do things. A few very interesting IT projects. As we speak, we are launching some new lines of business. We do believe that in the end of the day, having invested more than $3 billion, the question is, and having full commitment to the telecom sector in India, there is absolutely no reason to backtrack now when there is absolutely zero clarity on how the whole regulatory part will develop.
At any point of time, you're not looking at slapping any kind of damage charges on your Indian partner?
At this stage, there is absolutely no reason to even deliberate this.
On that optimistic note, here's wishing you good luck, and we'll meet you in 4 months when things should improve.